Dealing with father and child conflict. This is today's subject in our lesson. So the objectives is to help fathers navigate and resolve conflicts with their children while building stronger relationships. Before I begin, what I want to do is address a few things here. When you are in relationships, it's inevitable you're going to have disagreements at some stage, at some phase of the relationship. Because two people are coming in and they have different perspectives and different ways of doing things, and this will inevitably cause conflict. The question is, how do you navigate? How do you sort things out? And conflict is something not to be fearful of. The people who are fearful of conflict are the ones that don't know or have not got the education to deal with conflict. And you are lucky today because I'll be sharing some tips and tricks to how to navigate the tough times of conflict. And it doesn't always have to be tough. As long as you know some rules, some boundaries, some principles, you'll be all right. You'll be able to minimize conflict and you'll be able to make progress, hopefully. So, with that said, let's try to understand conflict, why it happens. There's disagreements can arise from differences in values, personalities, clashes, or power struggles. And it's normal, especially as children seek independence. As they grow, they're going to have their own experiences. They're going to have their ways of doing things and seeing things, and you will clash. But what happens when you do clash? How do you go about it? How do you carry yourself? How do you conduct yourself? What do you say? These are the sort of things that we'll be delving into in up and coming slides. So, what is the benefit? What is the main reason why we have conflict? The outcome is all about finding resolutions. That's it. And when we find resolutions, we're able to navigate a lot of relationships we have more calmly, more peacefully, more amicably. And this leads to healthier outcome in your relationships, whether it be with your spouse or your child. So that said, let's look at some tools, techniques about how we can manage conflict. So it's all about managing your emotions, staying calm to prevent escalation. Now, if you feel yourself emotionally getting wound up, step back. Don't react. Try and not react in those situations. Walk off until you're a lot more calmer, then address the situation another time. But you must develop that self-awareness to understand what is going on inside you internally so you can regulate yourself. When you feel like, oh, I can feel myself building up, heating up, then step back. That's when you have to close your mouth, let them say what they have to say, walk off, calm yourself down. Then, like I said, come back to it again. And why this helps your child to see you being calm in a tense situation. You're also indirectly educating your child to how to regulate their emotions and how to communicate effectively when it comes down to sorting out conflict. You're in control. You want to be in control of the situation, not the situation being in control of you, or not your child or the other person being in control of you. You have to regulate yourself. This is very, very crucial and important to take note of. So let's look at some more techniques. Active listening. Why is active listening so important? Because listening helps you to understand your child's perspective and makes them feel heard. Now, the thing is, how do you listen? You listen by not interrupting them. You listen by giving them the space, the time to express themselves. Because at that moment, guess what? You are not important. They are important because they're the ones who are emotionally upset, emotionally wound up, or they're the ones that want to say something at that particular time. So it's important that you just keep this quiet, close it, and keep these two ears tuned in. This will help you to navigate conflicting times in your relationships. The other thing is this. It's about setting boundaries. Set rules and expectations calmly and consistently. What does that look like? So, for example, when you're about to start off a conversation, establish rules. For example, I want to talk to you about something, but I don't want to offend you. Is that okay if I can talk to you about something sensitive? So it's like you're giving them a pre build up. Let's call it that, a pre build up of what you're about to say. You're equipping them. You're giving them some signs to to let them know what you're about to discuss, especially if it's a sensitive subject. And you also want to disarm them by saying and mentioning, I'm not here to attack you. I want to speak to you about something that is a bit sensitive, but I'm after a resolution. I need you to work with me on this one. I'm not here to attack you. I want to build my relationship with you. Something along those lines, just to let them know that what your intention is. You're not there to fault find. You're not there to point fingers at them. You're not there to make them feel wrong. You're there to understand the situation, why they think the way that they think, or the thinking that has led onto some type of outcome that you disagree with, and you're trying to find a solution. This is what it's about: how to deal with sensitive situations, how to go about it. And the final thing that I want to leave you guys with is this: conflict is natural, but handling it with calmness, respect, and open communication strengthens your relationship with your child. These are the key things to remember. So if I was to conclude this mini lesson, what I would say is this. Number one, be aware and learn to regulate yourself. Feel yourself in the conversation. If you're getting heated up, if you're getting wound up, step away. It's all about knowing when to walk off and calm yourself down and then get back to the situation maybe some other time. Maybe that time is not your time to speak or your time to say anything. The other thing is actively listen. Like I've said, keep this thing shut. If they're talking, let them finish. Remember, that situation is not necessarily about you at that time, especially if they're feeling emotional. You just want to tap into these little things here on the side of your head and listen more attentively. And that means give them the space to finish what they have to say, give them the space to talk, just to express themselves. Those are the things that you could implement into your relationship and watch it evolve, watch it become a lot more healthier. But this will take time, this will take practice, because sometimes you will slip and you have to catch yourself out from reacting. And it's all about constant training your awareness to not react. You want to retract, not react. You want to learn how to tame yourself. Then you can handle sensitive and conflicting situations a lot more better, and the relationships will definitely be a lot more healthier. The end.